Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back to the Operation Hill 100 Heart channel where you do what? Focus on healing, humor, and hot motherfucking topics. Ladies and gentlemen, I was trying my heart and soul. I was like, no, no, no. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back to the Operation Hill 100 Heart channel where we do what? Focus on healing humor and hot motherfucking topics. I was trying, y'all. I was trying my heart and soul out to wait. I'm like, I'll wait till tomorrow before I get on the love and hip hop. Love and Marriage Huntsville tip. I didn't want to do you like that, but I was so thirsty because Love and Marriage Huntsville was so good tonight. So I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I got to go live tonight because we need to discuss this. We need to we need to discuss this. We need to know what's going on. I need to have my thoughts, my comments, my complaints, my concerns, and I need my folks to be in the background cheering me on while we discuss. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it because I don't appreciate this drama here, but I kind of do low key appreciate it. And let me let y'all know one thing. Let me let what is let me let y'all know one thing and one thing only, my dear. Let's be clear. If we have to send in the po9 and the non-po, that's what we're going to have to do because what I seen tonight, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It made me a little nervous. What is going on? What is going on? I am not here for what I saw tonight. So we're going to have to discuss that and see what's going on because I kind of got the vibes like, are you okay? And is everything okay? I don't know. It was giving me, is somebody going to be missing? Is somebody going to be folded up? I don't know. So, anywho, let's get into the live, right? Let's get into the review, right? I am reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville. I don't even know the number of the episode that came on tonight, but let's get into it. Anywho, child, these folks are on the vacation that doesn't end. It just goes on and on, my friend. I'm not trying to be shady, but it seems like they've been on this vacation for the last 4 episodes. I'm like, Jesus, Lord, we still here. I thought we went back home. But anyway, no, they're still there. And I'm like, all righty then. But they're on this trip minus Trisha and Stormy. Because remember, Trisha and Stormy, they didn't fled the scene the last time. And then I saw an additional girl there. Who the hell was that? Remember when it's gonna be a part where Melody asks, I think I want to say it was Destiny, to trade places with this person. Who the hell was that person? If Melody said who she was, I might have missed that part. But anywho, they had a new addition to the group. Don't really matter because the lady ain't say nothing or do nothing, so that's all right, right? So anyway, they on a trip. They're still on a trip. They had dinner. They talk about how amazing the trip has been and blah 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 blah. And Melody is just there basically saying like, "Oh, the trip has been so amazing." And remember, without the fellas, us women were able to come together and be strong, black, positive, united queens. I want to say something about this whole strong, black, positive, united queen bullshit. People that lose their man, break up with their man, divorce their man, or are more newly single, they always do this. They always do this. I always see it. And see, for me, I was single for an incredibly long time. So I didn't do this because I wasn't coming out of a bitter situation to do it. But I noticed that a lot of women do this, right? When they don't have a man or they broke up with their man or they're divorced or they try to act so empowered. And in the process of them acting so empowered, they be on some like, we could do everything on our own. We don't need men for anything. No, bitch, I need my man. I need my man. So I know you want to make it seem like on this trip, we don't need no men involved and we don't need no men here. And granted, even though the men wasn't here, we did have a good time and we were empowered and all those other things. But in truth be told, when you have a man, you want your man. You don't have one. So now you don't want to be bothered with that because I'm pretty sure when you were married to Martell, you and Martell went on your family trips. You wasn't thinking about no girls trip and so on and so forth. So stop trying to make people feel bad because they don't mind having their significant other. They love that person. They're friends with that person. They want to be with that person. You are no longer in that space, so you wouldn't understand. But anywho, so they talking about everybody starts talking about how like this is pretty much as an adult their first girls trip, and that kind of made me sad, but I do kind of understand it. A lot of ladies were saying like, I don't really go out on girls trip. I don't really hang with women. Really do like the family thing or the spouse thing because that doesn't work for me. What I will say is this: I can understand it, but it depends on where you are in your life. I know for me, when I was younger, I did a lot of things with my friends because I was young. So my social circle meant a lot to me because that's who pretty much defines you when you're young. But as you get older, you do understand that it's more about inclusivity. And really and truly with that, that does kind of really look like your really, really close friends, your family, and your spouse if you have one. So I can understand the ladies because these ladies are all like 30, in their late 30s or early 40s, and I believe some of them in their 50s. So it's like, no, we're not too much into the, having a girls' night. I mean, a girls' trip and a wilding out moment. And not to say you can't have them at that age, but as you get older, that does shift and change to more intimate settings. And as an adult woman, when you got so much going on, you really don't have time for your social circle as much as you did when you were younger. But anywho, they just was saying that's how it go, right? So Destiny was pretty much sitting there. You could tell Destiny was not here for all of the things that they was going around the table saying about how good a trip it was and how they enjoyed themselves. And Destiny, I think that I think that you think that folks can't make assessments. Because what was annoying me was that you were sitting up there looking like everything they were saying was foreign to you and you looked uncomfortable. And then when Melody asked you, like, well, everybody is saying this was such a good time. Do you disagree, Destiny? You was looking at her like, but why would you ask me that? No, I'm good. But you could look at you and physically see that you're not good. So I didn't understand why you didn't understand. They could assess that something was not right. But anywho, that don't matter. So she was basically saying that, she said in her face, like, yeah, no, I'm good. I agree. And when she won her confessional, she was like, no, I can't. I do not deny that this was a good trip. She was like, but if I'm being honest, it's very phony. It gives me like we're all saying everything to make each other feel good and we're all kissing your ass and we're not being genuine. And I don't know if I more so believe that, Destiny. I just think that you wanted to hang on to one particular situation, which we're going to get into. That I'm not going to lie, Destiny, you are draining me with this, and I'm trying to have your back, but you. Okay, girl. So, anywho, this is one thing that I can give Destiny for credit for, and I do appreciate about her. She was honest. Instead of BSing and pump faking, she was honest in her feelings, and she was like, listen, hearing you guys talk to Sunny last night about her trying to conceive a baby and so on and so forth, that really took a toll on me because remember, she's with my ex. So that bothered me, because I just didn't like hearing it and seeing it. And really and truly, what she should have said is because I'm not over him and I'm not over the situation. Because it's not just you're not over her getting with him, you're also not over him. So, anywho, uh, Melody, which she better have, because if she wouldn't have, I would have tore her head off. She did something that needed to be done. She was like, well, as the trip facilitator, I definitely want to apologize on my end because that definitely, I'm sorry that you felt that way and you were triggered by that, and I really want to apologize. And Miss Nell also apologized because Miss Nell was like, well, I was the person that brought it up, so let me apologize as well, Destiny. I promise you that was not a dig. We just was in the moment of having conversations about children and that came up. But I do apologize. And I do feel like Miss Nell and Melody's apologies were sincere. But once again, Destiny is not over Moses and she's not over the situation. So because of that, it was like, okay, I hear you guys, but I'm going to continue to say, like, I feel uncomfortable. I feel away. I'm not going to be kumbaya on this trip, so on and so forth. So finally, Sunny chimed in. And Sunny, what you were saying was shady, but in a nice way. And then towards the end, it was nasty and everybody else caught it. So basically what you was trying to say was that you could appreciate the fact that you ladies were all on a trip together. You were enjoying yourself. And you was kind of sort of telling Destiny, but not to her directly. In so many words, folks need to move forward and get the fuck over it. That's what you were feeling, and pretty much that's what you said, right? So when she said that, she also used the word. She was like, I see how folks are getting past betrayal and yada, yada, yada. So that gave Destiny the opportunity to jump on her, which was saying, well, it's funny you use that word because I feel betrayed. And here we go again. The shit flared up again. Oh, you did this, you did that, you stole my man. He wasn't your man when it's just the same old, same old. And to be honest, what I think you should do, Destiny, is I think you should come back next season. I think you should come back next season because it's plain to a fucking duck to see that Sunny and Moses want to hear because they're on the show. And it's also plain to a duck to see that you are truly, truly not over this. And nobody can give a time frame on when you should be. But since you know that you're not over it and I'm telling you, you're going to go down the wrong road as far as the viewers go. You don't want to paint that picture of you being the bitter old villain of the show, because I imagine you want to be liked. So how about you step away until you heal and you can be in Sunny's space? Because really and truly at this moment, you cannot be in Sunny's space. And I'm not saying that you're wrong for that. It just shows that every time you're around her and you get the opportunity to check her about playing her fucking self, you're going to see to it and make sure that you do it. The only reason why I don't like it, because it makes you look incredibly bitter, and it's just like, get over it, And I don't mean to be mean, because I've been in situations where you're so stuck and hung up on a person and the feeling may not be reciprocated. My reason for saying that you probably would need to move forward is because it's clear that he has done so. It's clear that he has done so. It's not like he's here. He married her. They're now working on a child, according to her. It doesn't matter what he might whisper to you. He has moved on. So, my dear, you have to find a place and a time and the ambition to do so. And if you can't, you need to step away from the show, because she's going to be on the show. And no fairness to her, she's on the show to tell her journey, which is with her husband Moses and what they got going on. So if you can't take that, girl, you just might need to move on, because seeing you look bitter makes me a little sad for you, because I do have compassion for the fact that that was your boo. You loved him. You knew a lot of years. You knew him a lot of years. That was your friend. I get all of that, but he's moved on. What do you want folks to do? And so anyway, they clocked Sunny, because they was like, you was being a little nasty in your response. And Destiny was like, and that's how it's been. And basically Sunny was like, yeah, it probably is, because I'm just tired of talking about this shit. And to be honest, I'm with Sunny. We're tired of hearing about it. No shade, Destiny. I love you, but we are, right? So then it's crazy, because I watched Rodney the Voice, and Rodney the Voice had put up one time when he reviewed the show, he was saying how Shanita is moving with Tisha. And he was saying something about, I forgot what his reasoning was for what he said she was moving with Tisha like that for. And I was like, no, Shanita moves with people a particular way because she knows she can do so. First of all, Shanita is 7'7", right? And she can be aggressive, but she also preys on the weak. So if it looked like she could play in your motherfucking face, Shanita will. And I had told Rodney the Voice, I was like, no, Shanita played with Tisha because she knew she could. You saw what Tisha did. Oh, I accept your apology. It's okay. You don't really know me. No, bitch, you don't really know me. And you playing on my motherfucking head top. But Tisha allowed that. Destiny is not going to play that shit. Destiny's not gonna play that shit. Speaking of, Shanita tried to chime in when Sunny and Destiny was going back and forth. Destiny shut that shit down immediately. She was like, hey, how you doing, Shanita? Shanita, how you doing? I know you have some input, but I don't give a fuck about that right now. So please shut the fuck up. Now back to you, Sunny. Yes, exactly. That's how you how to handle her. And after that, if she did say something, production ain't fucking showing. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the reason why she was playing with Tisha, because she knew she could. Because Destiny shut it down quick and early. So anywho, they moved along, and Melody showed the group trip photo. It looked so nice, and she was saying that they could all sign the photo, and she gonna get copies made, and she gonna send it out to everybody. And then she pulled out a poem, and she pulled out some white roses, and basically she was pretty much honoring them on the last day of the girls trip. So I thought that was really nice. Then it ended. And the next scene, you see brolic ass Trish and Ken, right? And this is another reason why Trish and Ken irritate me, because a lot of the shit that y'all allow, y'all both is too big and doofy and brolic for. So it irritates me that y'all allowing it. Y'all give me like the kind of like sugar bear kind of vibes where you just big for nothing, and that annoys me. So anywho, they going out to have lunch or brunch, whatever they going to have. And here we go again with Trisha telling ass. She talking about the trip and saying how she didn't like how Sunny tried to compare her and Moses' situation to her and Ken's situation. And she felt like Shanita kept chiming in. Once again, Shanita going to hold it on who she can. And Trisha, your demeanor suggests you soft. So that's why she played in your face. And she felt like everybody was on Sunny's side with the whole comparison between the two couples and blah, 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 blah. And then they start to discuss the differences between their situation, which is Moses and Sunny versus Ken and Trisha. And what I seen in those moments is that Ken was basically trying to justify Trisha still being married, right? And I'm looking at Ken like there's no justification, right? There is no justification. I'd rather you just say I don't need to justify it. I'm just a patient man, and I'm gonna let her do what she do when she feel like doing it. But stop making it seem like, oh, they married, they don't really care. She don't really like him. She don't really know him. All that is grand and great, but that doesn't projecting her actions. Because if it was all of that of what you're saying, she would have divorced him. See, you're the one doing the talking, not her. Do you see how that goes, Ken? So that irritates me that you're trying to justify when really and truly she's playing in your motherfucking face, right? So then Trisha brings up how Tisha asked her about the Martell situation. This was all on a girls' trip. And she didn't want to really have that discussion with Melody in front of everybody. She kind of wanted to talk to her on the side. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what is there to talk about? If you saying you ain't screwed a man and him and Melody was together at the time, what are you talking? But again, you give me you guilty and you're a thought. So either way, right? So Kim brought up, and this part really fucking irritated me. I was in cursing him out to Pookie, right? So now remember, in the last episode, Ken was around the guys. Martell brought it up. Martell said a lot of bullshit in those moments that if I was Ken, no, if I was Trisha and I saw my man taking all of that shit from Martell, he wouldn't have been my man no more. So anyway, now Ken is like, well, I'm tired. Yeah, we need to nip this whole you and Martell thing in the bud because I'm tired of hearing about it. And I'm going to have to step to Martell and check him because we was there with the fellas. He pretty much egged on the fact that, you know, you might have liked him and so on and so forth. And I don't like how he played into it. And I'm going to have to see him about that. And I'm looking at this Ving Rhames looking motherfucker like, Ken, you should have saw his fucking ass right there in real time. You telling Trisha right now makes absolutely no sense, but you didn't check the nigga while he was saying it. And one of the things that Martell said that pissed me the fuck off, which had me cursing Ken the fuck out, was when he was rehashing the story. Again, he just throwing all types of little innuendos in there. He like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I slid up in her DM because back then she looked better back then than she do now. Excuse me, motherfucker. And I was telling my man, I was telling Pookie, I was like, that irritated me because granted, what I feel like Ken is doing is I feel like Ken trying to keep it player. So he tried not to show an emotional reaction to the fact that something happened before his time. Can I get that? I get that. I totally get that you want to keep it player, keep it P, and you don't want to say nothing because this was before your time. My issue is he's also making little slick comments about her in present day. So like case in point, he's saying he pulled up on her DM back then because she looked good, but then he sidebars that and said better than she looked right now. She's your bitch right now, right, Ken? Okay, motherfucker, so have her back in real time. But again, that's what you do. That's what you do. You go and you talking up the fucking confessional and you going to talk to Trisha, but you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. And like I said, you looking like Vin Rhames. She looking like fucking, what's his name? Jody mother off for fucking, baby boy. Y'all looking all muscular on the group. Why y'all the softest ones and y'all the biggest ones? So that's irritating me. I'm just looking at them like, child, please. So anyway, the divorce situation comes up. And Ken says he thinks it's time to have a sit down with Marquez. That Marquez is Trisha's husband because they need to talk and blah, 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 right? And when he said all of that, Trisha was looking like she was hesitant to sit down and talk about anything because really and truly she's not ready to get divorced, which is why she ain't do shit. And I'm there looking like I knew that was the motherfucking case. I just ain't want to be the one to break the news to you, Ken, because I like you and I think you cool. But I also think Trisha is full of shit and playing in your motherfucking face. But either way, if you want to allow him, my dear, that's on you. So anywho, in the next scene, you see Kimmy and Maurice get together, right? And Maurice is down, and they both sit down. And they talking about the girls' trip, and she said the only issue that she had on the trip was with Grandma Nell. Grandma Nell, what's they called? The madams. Grandma Nell remind me of a madam in a strip club. Grandma Nell get on my fucking nerves. I don't know why her voice get on my nerves. Everything about it gets on my nerves. I just like the husband. He seemed cool. So anywho, Kimmy was basically saying Grandma Nell got on her fucking nerves because she went out there to approach Melly about something, and Grandma Nell came out getting their business. She was like, and it's not even just you having input on something that don't have nothing to fucking do with you. You yelling, you being disrespectful. And remember, Kimmy looked good, but Kimmy is older as well. That's why she was bumbling with Miss Wanda, because she was saying to Miss Wanda, see your daughter, that she's younger than you. I'm old. I'm just as old as damn near you. I'm a grown ass woman. So I think Kimmy's frustrations with women like Miss Nell and Wanda come from, I'm damn near, I'm closer to y'all bitches' age than I am to these other people. Play with somebody else and not me. And she said that. She was like, I don't know how you talk to your kids, but do not play with me. So she was like, she just got on my nerves for whatever the situation was. She was minding my fucking business and hey, I had nothing to do with it, right? So then she was like, she got to know lying ass Trish. And she was like, she likes Trish. She was like, she feel like Trish stood her ground when the Martell situation came up. She held it down. She was good under pressure. Blah 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 blah. I'm looking like, girl, Trish is a fucking liar and need to be off the show next season. But anywho, Maurice was like, well, okay, well, let me tell you what happened on the men's side, right? He was like, Martell basically, once again, was rehashing the story about what happened and how he slid in Trisha DMs. Instead of her taking him to the gym, she took him to the house, and it was on the couch here, on the house here. Like, basically, he was saying how, Martell was sharing a story in a way that could be offensive, regarding that being Kim woman and the way situations went, right? And then Maurice asked Kimmy, he was like, well, do you believe that nothing really happened between them? And Kimmy was like, you know what? I kind of do. I just feel like Martell can be very misleading and a piece of work, and it don't make it no better that Trisha lied. She was like, but I kind of do believe that they didn't actually go down. So Maurice was like, well, listen, I'm here to tell you, between this whole Ken, Trisha, Marquez situation, what I believe in my heart of hearts is that she don't really want to be with Ken as much as Ken really want to be with her. He was like, don't get me wrong. I think she love and appreciate Ken and everything that he does for her, but she's not ready to completely close that chapter. And because of that, she is still married and not making a move. And Ken is there trying to, be the best guy he can be so she can eventually do so. But I feel like he's more locked in than her. And he was like, you know what? I feel like it's more to the story than what's being told, right? So Kimmy was like, well, my personal view of it is I feel like she's been married before, and she's traumatized by that last marriage, and she doesn't want to rush into anything, so she's taking her time before she go to the next steps with Ken. So Maurice was like, no, I hear all of that. He was like, and I'm not saying she should marry Ken tomorrow. He was like, but if you acting like this last person was so horrible or made you so miserable, even if you don't marry Ken, why are you not completely separating from Marquez? And I'm with Maurice on what he said. Not only am I with Maurice because that's pretty much how his situation with Kiowa, but I'm with Maurice on that situation because I've been through that. I've definitely been through that. That's very, very personal, where it's like you're dealing with a person. They like, no, I'm done with the past. But then there's other things that need to be done for them to be completely done, and they dragging their feet. It's only one or two things that's going to happen here, right? Number one on the list is always the concern of why the person is dragging their feet. And in my opinion, a person is dragging their feet because they're not completely done, right? And if you are the person that's in the relationship with the person dragging their feet, you only have two choices. You can either let them know that they need to pick up the pace, or you can move on, right? It seems like with Ken, he wants to continue waiting for her to pick up the pace. We'll see if that happens as we continue watching the episode. But seeing as though Kimmy and Maurice both had different views of it, they was like, you know what? We need to get together and hang out with them so we could be able to make a clear assessment, right? Anywho, give me a sec. So in the next scene, they show Marceau and Tisha. Oh, Marceau and Tisha house looks so nice. I haven't really seen their house that they live in, because every minute, remember, they were switching and like, oh, they were renting something and renovating. So I remember all of that. So I guess this is their home. I don't know. Anywho, it looked very good, right? So of course they sitting around talking, and then the trio comes up, right? So which is Ken, Trisha, Marquez, all that stuff, right? So before that comes up, they talking about Tisha is letting Marceau know about Shanita and her antics, and Marceau was like, I think I know this person. She big, she tall. Marceau was like, listen, don't entertain her ass because you ain't even gonna know her next year. So Tisha was like, why are you saying that? He was like, listen, you know the saying that sometimes you have people for a reason or a season. We never know what's no reason, but we always know it's for a season. He was like, so I don't anticipate Shanita being around long, so play that shit no more. I was cracking up when he said that, right? And then they discussed Trish, Martell, and the whole situation regarding that. And they was comparing stories. And Marceau was like, well, none of these motherfuckers not alive, because according to the story that Martell was telling, He ain't seen no Trisha just no one time, and that was it. He invited her over a number of times, and they watched the movie and yada yada yada, right? And Tisha was like, "Well, that wasn't shit on the girl shit. It was pretty much you asked me to train you. I came to your house. You didn't train, so I never saw you again, right?" And Marceau is like, I mean, I hear all of that, and I don't know if I believe it, and I don't believe any of these stories because they're all fucking lying, right? So that Tisha brought up, she was like the conversation that Destiny and Melody had. And she was like, I'm pretty much hopeful for a breakthrough. I hope they move forward. She was like, but some of the things that felt weird to her was like how Melody alluded to the fact that Destiny and Martell might have something going on because some of the things that were done, right? And I have mixed feelings about this, and I'm gonna get into that. But let me say what Tisha said. So I mean, what Marceau said. Marceau was like, "Well, you know where that could possibly come from." Once again, Martell being weird with some of the things he say and do that with would ignite a woman to feel away. He was like case in point, he has made little jokes like saying like Destiny's son look just like him. Why would you say that, right? And I get where Marceau was coming from, right? I want to say this about Melody, Destiny, and Martell, and me having a male best friend, right? If in any friendship, what I feel in friendships, it is they are strictly platonic. That's the long and the short of it. I don't care if it's a male or a woman, they are strictly platonic. Once you feel like a person that you're supposed to be friends with gives you romantic feelings, then, and I don't mean romantic feelings like you want to be in a relationship with them, it's any type of sexual feelings, you might want to let them hit, whatever, then that's no longer a friendship, right? And I've had that in two regards, right? I have a male best friend that is strictly platonic, but then I've had a guy who I grew up with, who I was friends with, where I low-key had a crush on him and he low-key had a crush on me, right? We all three were friends. My male best friend, that it was platonic, and me and him was both friends with the friends that me and the guy liked each other romantically. So how I played it was, the one that I liked romantically, but that was also my friend, I made sure we kept the platonic friend around to keep it platonic because I didn't want to cross that boundary, right? I knew he liked me. I knew I liked him, but I just wasn't prepared to be in a situation with him, and I didn't want no smoke, but we knew we liked each other. So things that I would do with my platonic homeboy, like case in point, me and my platonic homeboy could talk on the phone for hours. I would never do that with him because at some point the relationship will go down a romantic road because we like each other. And see, that's the difference between having a platonic relationship and then having a friend who you have romantic feelings with. For what I feel about Destiny and Martell is, I feel like it's strictly platonic. I don't think they like each other. I think Martell knows that would ignite a Melody, and he likes to be a dick, so he says a little slick shit. And I think that Destiny finds it funny, so she laughs. What Destiny needs to factor in is being a woman. Whether she's cool with Melody or not, that shit ain't funny. That shit ain't funny because even before they was divorced, just me being a woman and knowing that you have feelings, I don't know about now if Melody have any, but that you have or have feelings for this person, I would not allow them to play with me that way because of how I know you feel, right? And that's Kate, like I said, with the guy who I was friends with but also had romantic feelings with, I never got along with any of the women that he dated. I never got along with his baby mama. I never got along with the bitches he fucked with because there was something lingering there. And God rest his soul, he's no longer here. But for my platonic friend who we never had nothing, me and all his women got along well. Well, most of, because they could see that, that it's not like that. That's not what it is. So I think for Destiny and Martell, I think it's strictly platonic, but I also feel like Destiny allows Martell to play in that space that could blur the lines, and she's giggling about it. And you got to think about the other person who has feelings. That shit is not funny. That's not funny to the other person. It may be funny to you because there's nothing really going on, but to the person who has real feelings, that shit is not funny. And that was another one of the reasons why Martell got away from him. But anyhow, the point that Marceau was making was like, he was like, Martell do stuff like that. So I could see why Melody would be saying stuff like that, right? So anywho, they Tisha brought up how Melody was showing popcorn or cornbread or biscuit or whatever the side person name was that Martell cheated would have made a baby, how she felt like Melody was showing her how to cheat respectfully. Melody denied it. Basically, Marcel was giving a recap of the guys' night out. Tisha was giving a recap of the ladies' trip. That was it, right? Anywho, in the next scene, Trisha decides to meet up with Marquez. And let me tell y'all something. Mm-mm. Y'all not, let's be clear, right? When Marquez go off the deep end, because I want it to be clear. Because Marquez, I'm telling y'all right now, Marquez gave every single living drop. I'm scared of Marquez. I'm telling y'all. I'm scared of Marquez. Y'all can play and think it's a game and it's a joke. I don't think it's a game and it's a joke. I'm petrified of fucking Marquez and everything about this let me know that I was afraid, right? So, anywho, they go and they sit down because Trisha and Marquez and Ken agreed it was time to talk to this motherfucker, right? So now I seen Marquez on Carlos King and knew he was and felt like he wasn't right from there. But again, I'll try to watch unbiased, right? So Ken and Trisha go in, they sit down, they both look cock diesel, like the parents from Baby Boy. And then Marquez come in, right? So when he sat down, he's like introducing himself. I mean, saying hey, and he gets straight into it, right? And basically, Marquez feelings is well, first of all, he's far deep, long, and wide into his feelings. Let's start there, right? So it's like they just broke up yesterday because he's still deep in, right? And he feels like this whole relationship between Ken and Trish was like planned because he saw DMs and messages prior to, and she was saying like that was her homeboy. So he feels like that been was going on when they was married and they was inching and leading up to this, and now it's playing out in his face, right? So that Trish and Marquez begin to argue about who left the house, who asked who to leave, why he left the house, who around the kids, how Ken interacts with the kids. It was just a whole lot of back and forth. And it really was because Marquez is truly, truly, I'm telling you, Marquez is in his feelings bad. Marquez is in his feelings bad. And I think it's for two reasons. I don't want to only say it's like, oh, he's in his feelings because, you know, uh the girl left him. I think also he's just in his feelings because I think he thought like because remember they said that they are high school sweethearts. So I feel like he thought like, you know, to some degree at some point they would get past this and he can't believe you really trying to move on and away from this relationship, right? So you could tell he was heartbroken, right? And then Trisha moved on, and you know, and he's trying to make it seem like his only interest is about the kids. But you know, you could tell he feels a way about Ken stepping up and doing what he got to do. You know, and Ken would just inform him. He's like, "Listen, I'm not trying to X you out as a father. I want you in it. I want you involved. I want you to be there for your kids. They love you." He was like, "But at the end of the day, I'm a protector and I'm a provider, especially for the woman and the family that I love. So I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do while I'm in this household with this family." And I know that makes you feel threatened because this is your family, but you left your family, right? And then the back and forth once again flares up about when you left, how you left, who told you to leave, when y'all started talking. It was just too much. It was just too much, right? So I was just looking like Marquez. I'm very afraid of Marquez. Because Marquez is still literally broken, like they just broke up yesterday, right? And Ken is like, listen, I'm here for you. I'm not trying to, you know, make you feel uncomfortable. I just want you to know that I'm the man in your kid's life and in her life, and I want us to be able to have a relationship, right? And you know, Marquez is acting like he want to hear that, but really and truly, I'm be honest. I feel like he want his family back and he want Ken to fuck up out of here, right? So and then Marquez was like, okay, so if that's the case and we moving forward, no problem. So I brought the papers with me, right? So he pulls the papers out. And this is why I kind of feel like Trish is once again a piece of work. Because here you go. I feel like you're very reactive, you know, but you really wasn't going to do nothing because you low key like you in Marquez situation. That's what I think. Because when he pulled the papers out, you could see. She said it in her confessional, you was shocked, but you could even see in her face, she was hesitant, like, oh shit, this motherfucker trying to really take it far, right? So then when he did that, she was on some like, oh, okay, you bought him, so I'm gonna sign him. But I don't think that she would have made that step. It would have had to been him. That's why I said them two was playing ping pong, and it's just that he shows his he shows his emotions physically more than she does. So you would think it's him more that wants it, but her ass wanted to. That's why she wasn't trying to move along, and that's why she was so shocked that he actually bought the fucking papers, right? I also think he bought some of his holster too, and he's OJ Simpson, but hey, that's just me, right? So anywho, He pulls the papers out and now she's reacting. So she's like, oh, okay. You could tell she thought like, oh, you bought them? So let me show you better than I could tell you. Hey, she asked the waiter, do you have a pen so I can sign, right? Um, when she did that and she got the pen and started signing, mm-hmm, I'm here to tell y'all, no, I'm being serious. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm scared. I am fucking scared. I don't care what y'all say. I am fucking scared. Marquez went into a full breakdown. Marquez went into a full fucking breakdown. So I'm there looking like, oh no. And Ken is good at heart. So he was trying to offer support. He was like, listen, I've been here. I've been where you are. I know I look like the bad guy because I'm the other guy, but where you are right now, I've been here. He was like, and I offer that you go to therapy, you do everything you need to do to get yourself together because you just need to be a better man for you. Forget about family, kids. No, you need to just get yourself together for you. He was like, and I know it sounds crazy to say because I am the other guy, but you can lean on me, you can call on me because I've been here and I'm not trying to have no smoke with you, right? So in that moment, that resonated for me for two reasons, right? Because I am a Ken type of person. When I first got in a relationship I felt like if I was nice enough and cool enough that I could build a rapport with my man's ex, so we could be in a space of, if not nothing else, at least cordial because I'm welcoming that energy, right? So I understood what Ken was doing and I was definitely viewing it from a genuine space. Now I wouldn't fucking dare. But in any event, that's where I was, initially, right? So I felt Ken on that. And if somebody is receptive to it, it's a beautiful thing because my mom and my stepmom got along perfectly. So I get why it would happen, right? But anyway, Trisha, once again, I just felt like she was being reactive. Not saying she didn't want the divorce, but I felt like she wanted it more because he bought the paper. So it's like, I gotta one up you. You thought you was being spiteful, so now let me show you I could be more spiteful. So she did sign the paper, paying him thus, and then she goes in the confessional and she was like, "Listen, this is what this nigga do. Like he pulls stunts, he start crying, he make everybody feel sorry for him, and then they be back with the same thing." And she was like, "I'm done with the same thing. I'm done with his ass. So let him cry. Me and Ken is getting the fuck up out of here." But I don't think that only came from that. I think a part of it was that, and I think the other part of it was also, oh motherfucker, you really put these fucking papers in, so now game on. I'm just telling you, to me, Trisha, give me that, because if that was the case, why the fuck she didn't do the legwork for the paperwork, or why she ain't bring it with her? So I was like, girl, please, you wasn't trying to move forward. You like Marquez sweating, you don't want to suck your nipples. So anyway, like I said, Trisha didn't give a damn. I think she was low-key mad about them papers because after that, you could tell she was off him. She didn't want to talk no more. And she was pretty much like, okay, guys, so, we can go. It was good seeing you. Papers aside. Have a nice life. And girl, when they left, once again, Marquez broke down even more. And I was looking at the camera. I said, Marquez, I pray you don't OJ these motherfuckers. She got real off, girl, real house, girl, real. Love and Marriage Huntsville was lit. Love and Marriage Huntsville was lit this episode. And I'm definitely tuning in next week to see if Trisha and Ken is still alive, because Marquez is giving me a real the juice kind of tease. Y'all make sure you hit the thumbs up on this video, like, comment, share, subscribe. Happy to have you here. Let me know if I forgot something in my review. Let me know if you disagree with something. Let me know if you saw something I saw. Please don't forget to comment down below. As long as it's not disrespectful, I will make sure that I comment back and we have some dialogue. In any event, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend and your week.